Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I was just sitting here minding my own business, making collage fodder, getting high on Sharpie fumes, copying an idea that I saw. I'm pretty sure it was Jennifer at Scrapbooks and Memories. I saw her video the other day, and it reminded me that, hey, I've done this before. I love doing this. Why am I not doing more of it? So let me show you what I've done so far. I think it looks pretty cool, just, as a handful here. But so essentially, what I have been doing was, well, I'm continuing the quest to sort of clean up around here. And of course, I have publications that I have been hanging on to, and you sometimes wonder, well, okay, how many is enough? And so I thought, well, I could use some up in this way by doing some very simplistic doodling on them and get rid of some that way, and then others maybe just never should have been saved this long. I'm just basically showing you, I'm sorting to showing so that I can show, I'm sorting these things so I can show you the variety and the simplicity of what I've done here. Now, I said that I was using a black Sharpie, and that's true, and it is stinky. And I don't know, honestly, why I was doing it, because I do not like that smell. I'm sure it's probably, killing off a few brain cells. And goodness knows who's got any to spare. So I've also reached for my Posca. For some reason, I can't seem to find my new Sharpie ones that have just the regular nib, not the brush point. Anyway, I won't bother with these little guys. So you can see that this is actually reverting to those first drawings that we did in grade 1. Whoops, somebody just jumped off the desk here. I'll search for it later. And so anybody can do this. And you can see that I left a bit of the perimeter just to add another little, effect. Now, are there any gray flowers in life? In the real world? No, but it doesn't matter. I love drawing poppy pods. This one I did on book page, which is probably not that great, but then if you have enough of these things, in the context of the whole thing, it's probably at any particular, like no flower would ever have a petal, a two-tone petal like that with that sharp line. But in the context of things, where reality doesn't matter, it's okay. We can work with it. Now, these are some, these are pine cones. And the reason they're so short and squat, I'll show you, is because I was using a book. When we were doing our edition, of course, there were sample books of, siding and window trim. Oh, I guess this one was on decking material. So I thought, boy, I could make pine cones out of all of these guys. So there's that. I'll show you the very first magazine that I started. My husband got this at a district meeting that he was at, and it was so beautifully done. Like the photography. It's featuring these different entrepreneurs, and you can see that they used a very uniform color palette and aesthetic through the whole thing. you know, this old wooden chair, a step ladder, white drapey things. And there was very little color, which sort of made it not the the best choice, probably. But that is where I got, you know, this. Here's a piece of an ottoman that I could get another, you know, something out of. Those could even be, I guess, in a sense, I was starting to try to have things make sense. So if I want a pine cone, then it makes sense in my way of thinking to do it on nature colors like browns and so on. I did these leaves out of a couple of pages that had these two trees. It was a sales brochure for a hospital charity foundation draw, a lottery draw. So, I mean, I don't think there are blue tulips out there. However, I thought that it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm going to need a touch of blue somewhere. In an art journal, a glue book, collage, just in this riskier crafting that I'm doing this year. This, and there are more of them here. I just didn't cut them all out because I wanted. Okay, and I really like these. Whatever these are, I like them. And I managed to get these bright things. Like you probably can't tell that these little red flowers, those are all off the prize-winning fire engine red car in that same hospital sales brochure. So I will put these aside and out of the way, and I will show you some of the other types of publications I'm considering or have started using. So this is still from that first thing that I showed you. This is a flower shape that I have been doodling for 25 years. I don't know why. I don't know if it really resembles anything in nature, but you can see that I did it on, I think, a lady's white top. Here it's on a purse, and I think that'll be kind of cute when I cut it out. I also added stems in certain places. Like at first with these tulips, I just, you know, basically did what you see here. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be good to at least do that point of connection where the flower joins the stem? That way, if I glue this down in a layout of some sort, I can just draw in the stem. I don't think I'd want to really have to worry about stems at this point. This was some sort of, whiskey bacon jam. Like, is that any good? I don't know. Here are a couple more poppy pods. Those are coffee beans, I guess. So this was coffee on a teaspoon. This is beans on a teaspoon. I thought, well, why don't I just work with what's there? So again, a lot of, and I'm not going to spend more than a nanosecond or two cutting this out, but I do want to show you that the subject matter below doesn't have to have a darn thing to do with what you are hoping to create. So imagine that we were doing something with this. You have, all of a sudden, you've got these different color ranges, you know, range of hues and tints and intensity and so on, that it's going to, I think it's just going to add to the finished product. So this is, it's a creative process. It's a mindless process. Certainly you don't have to consider the same things that I have. I'll cut out one of these. So this, so I think all of these are going to look great together, but I'll add that to my cutting pile. Okay, so on this one, it's a couple of books, a couple of cushions, and some sort of a drapey fabric there. So once you remove the context as to what it is that you're actually seeing there, it looks maybe a little more believable. Not that believability is is necessarily a factor here. In most cases, I let the perimeter, or the white, where the photograph ends and the white margin begins, that was usually my self-imposed limit. But I suspect that the more a person does of this, and I mean the longer your session is, where you're actually sitting down, the looser a person gets and the freer a person gets. I suspect that is true. Now, I've done this over a couple of days, so. And I also thought it would be important to have different sizes. And of course, sometimes that just happens out of necessity, because there's only, so much of a certain color or pattern that a person can pick up. Here is, this was it doesn't matter what it was. There's another flower. I think that is on a, again, it doesn't matter. I was able to get this one maroon one out of that lady's top. I'll just add that there. Okay, now this Costco thing just came in. So I was looking through here, because after I did all these flowers, I'm thinking, I don't have anything yellow. So let me show you what I pulled out of the Costco connection. This is some kind of a cauliflower salad, I guess. I'm going to use Posca just for less stinkiness. And I thought, why don't I just outline those florets and turn that into a flower. And again, it doesn't have to, I don't have to make it, it doesn't have to be identifiable, although I suppose if I added a few more squiggly things like this, maybe all of a sudden it looks like the top of a carnation. And it doesn't matter if I get a bit of green in there. So again, that's what I'm meaning, or that's my theory with the do it long enough, do it to the point where you find yourself loosening up. I could put these two together and make it a little bigger head, or similar in size to. Now, I suppose I could try to do that fringy effect like from the side. Don't forget some sepals every once in a while. I don't know if this is that successful. That's just drawing from memory. So there's things like that. And I do have another little bit there. So, and then I thought, I don't have anything really bright yellow or towards the orange family. So why don't I use this grilled cheese here? So maybe I just want teeny weeny little things. Again, no talent whatsoever is required to do that. But I also don't want to make myself insane. I don't want to have a mental breakdown. doing the fussy cutting. So maybe I will cluster these things together. And that way I'm cutting out the entire, and see how, again, I'm talking and it just flowing. These things don't look like my first one. So is that going to matter? Probably not, because anyone who has gardened knows that not every single flower head on a plant is identical. We know that there are color variations. We know that it depends if a leaf or a petal has turned under, is dying off, is just about to open. So we can, if we felt the need to sort of justify what we're doing, we can just feel that this is happening at various stages. And now if we could, I do have, well, do I want to take the time to look at that? Let me use my little thing for framing. I'm not cutting this out just yet, but when you take the context away, all of a sudden that looks totally different. And again, there's also the possibility that this will be used in such a way that, you know, maybe it gets cut up or maybe it gets expanded upon. Now, what would these little flowers be? No idea. But I did recognize that I needed another color, so that's what I went for. Okay, I'm not going to spend the whole time here doing this, so I just wanted to say that everything is fair game. So, Lee Valley, well, this is, 2020. This is a catalog, and I didn't think there was much in the way of anything here for me to. So some publications would be better than others, although maybe fussy cutting this tree out would be a good thing. So again, I said this was about railings and decks and stuff like that. Look at these purple things. And again, maybe this doesn't lend itself well for this doodling exercise, but it might be absolutely awesome for, you know, the fussy cutting or something else. Or if a person needed some wood grain, or maybe a person wanted to replicate, see, I never thought of that before, do like tree trunks. Too bad that was the only. So, and maybe this is almost more like a birch. It would have those marks on it. So of course we can also add some branches. Now of course I'm very loose here. In fact, probably too loose to fussy cut. But we know that if we add a few marks, all of a sudden a piece of decking can become a tree. So I'm sure that once you let yourself start thinking in those terms, you'll see all kinds of possibilities everywhere. Now on this side, this is back to the Costco thing again. Here's a lot of yellow that I could use, and it's got the bonus of having that orangey line there at the bottom. But I also am short of burgundy. And this is very organic, the design and so on. So I think I would use this side, but I would probably change up the flower shape. You know, I've been doing I have a few different things happening there, but probably not enough variety. Oh, in that book I also found these babies that I will cut out. But I wanted to show you one last thing before I leave you. Long ago, I must have taken, and this is long before I knew anything about junk journals or bookmaking or whatever, I had taken apart a book that has these plates on it. So they're mounted on this sort of buff colored paper that is, I'm sure, aging, because I've had this probably for 25 years. And I don't know what my intention was. I know that when I was taking art classes, I was, part of what we did, of course, was a little bit of art history and recognizing people's different styles and so on. So I did have sort of a scrapbook binder or whatever with art reproduction images like this. So this is quite a stack. So it occurred to me, now maybe this isn't the perfect one to practice on because it has a lot of black marks on it already, but say this pointillism that Seurat did. We've all seen this thing 100 times. I could very easily take my pen and do something on these things. It would be another way to use up a resource that I've been holding on for far too long, as well as at the same time creating some fun new stuff to work with. And as I was getting ready to turn on the camera, I thought, okay, I've been focusing on black lines. Sort of takes us back to, you know, those coloring book days of our youth. But let's see if I have something that would, maybe this one, a little bit on the weird side. Something with a dark background. Why can't I do the reverse? Let's see if there's something better, maybe. That's also fairly dark. What would happen if I used white on black? Or on, you know, dark colors? How's that for surrealism? I don't know that I'll ever get there. Marc Chagall. But there is a dark corner there. So let's just make a mark or two on some of these and see how that goes. I also pulled out my gold. So that's another possibility on a dark color. So I care least about this one. So let's practice on this one. I don't know how well that's going to cover it, because this is fairly glossy, but let's just do that. Oh, see, it's not there. It's not great coverage. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a person would have to go around a second time. Or pick a less glossy surface. Oh, I guess going around a second time does make it better. Plus, you know, there's nothing that says that that sort of gray or that ghostlier color isn't that bad either. Okay, so that's that. Okay, we've got all these shades of green. Let's do a few different leaves. So my leaves were pretty, again, grade 1 caliber. So maybe we should have ones with a little more serrated edge. And again, you know, the application for something like this would depend on what else is going on the ultimate, on that page ultimately. I don't know if I'm again, I was going to say, stop myself short. I don't know if I'm wasting this paper using this white on it, but that's the wrong way to look at things. If I have it, I'll use it, presumably. I'll just set that aside for 1 second. I do want to try black on there, see if it even shows up. And let's say that on this one, maybe I want something really spiky, sort of like Leatris. Can I remember how to draw that just from memory? So of course well, they come in white, but they also, this is starting to look like a head of or a stalk of grain, which isn't exactly what I wanted. Leatris typically is the stuff that is the tall spiky thing that comes in purple, and it's a florist favorite. I think I got that top wrong. Anyway, it doesn't matter, that even if this doesn't exist. And again, you know, you can see that it's just mark making. It's it's kind of painterly in the sense that it's loose. I'm not trying to do an artistic reproduction of an actual you know, real thing in life. I want to try to see if the black shows up at all on this. Oh yes, I think I like the black better. And of course, we know that there are all sorts of leaves, you know, something that you might want to put with a poppy, or a 3-part thing that you might want to do with, like if you were doing a rose leaf, you know, maybe you want a little spikier edge on it. So we know that, and I could go over the white if I really didn't like it, which I might just do. Last thing, let's see what the gold does on here, if anything. And maybe, so these things are all kind of from nature, pods and foliage and flowers and and so on. Oh, you know, another thing that could work. Oh, but not with gold. Well, okay, I've shaken it up, so let's try it. Oh, that's rather bright. That is a mushroom. Oh dear. Yeah, I think that I probably could have done a little better there. Shouldn't there be some sort of markings on the top? Again, it doesn't hurt to have a reference point. It's nice that these pens dry quickly. Maybe I have to do something like a... Do I want to? Well, let's do it on this. Oh, let's not use gold. Let's see, let's do a little thorax here. And then do A butterfly. If this thing can fly, it will be a miracle. She seems a little off kilter, but that's okay. Anyway, I hope that you, when you get a chance, gather up your pens, whether they are whatever kind they are, and do some doodling like this on magazine pages, catalog pages, advertising, promotional type things. Actually, I should try to, oh, that came off quite easily because it's so old. And then I can save this paper, use it for backing or book pages or something. Oh, that's pretty darn good. And that way, when we are doing a session in our glue book or art journal, you'll have a pile of this stuff to reach for as well. And again, take artistic license in how you're cutting this out too. And again, I don't know if I would have to make that decision at that point, but I'm kind of skeptical as to whether or not I would be combining white outlined, white doodles with black ones, but never say never, because it is the year of the risk, for this kid anyway. I have to take a look at what a real mushroom looks like. And probably gold wasn't really the best choice there either. And if you thought you had enough fussy cutting to do in your world, you're wrong. There's more. There's always more. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop there. I've had fun doing this. I hope you've had some fun watching it, and I hope you're inclined to try it yourself. Oh, I should show you one other thing. Because I was, again, decluttering and so on, I came across some book pages that I have been saving forever and a day. It was a beautiful book. It was about floral arranging, and it had these this scabiosa. It had these very simplistic drawings in them. So I saved some of these pages to fussy cut. I'd say that's stalks. Rose, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, that's probably a peony, although those leaves are kind of puny. Poppy. So, Queen Anne's lace. Anyway, that kind of stuff to fussy cut around. Oh, here's a vase. Here's a wedding cake. And it was a weird book in a sense that, oh, I guess, oh, I should have this right set up, so I do that. Okay, so, and then there were pages like this. So all of these things have potential use in a glue book, art journal, whatever. Let me show you some of the things that I did fussy cut already. Poppy, whatever this is. And again, I left white around it. This was getting too spindly and delicate, so I just arbitrarily cut it into smaller pieces. You know, sometimes I don't think it would be worth it trying to keep those stems intact. I'm not sure, I don't know what is that, an orchid or a sweet pea or something? This looks like, well, whatever. It's not a horticultural class, I don't know if that's supposed to be a lilac. This almost looks like dill. Lily of the Valley. This kind of globy thing, I'm not sure what it is. Some leaves. Oh, this is Lily of the Valley. Oh, you know what? No, it was two different things. I don't know. This. Can't we all draw that? That would be... not sure. That looks kind of like a lupin. Anyway, so I've got all those pieces to work with. Look at her headpiece. Anyway, there were several more pieces. I also had this piece of fabric. Now, I'm pretty sure that Kim gave this to me. So I thought, why don't I just do something very spontaneous? So I counted, I think I had 48 pages. And I thought, okay, I'll take 2 more back from the fussy cutting. And I essentially just used that book. So you can see, it is kind of weird. Although this is beautiful, I think. It talked about vases, again, because it was a floral design thing. So they're talking about hand cream. I don't know why they have these kind of, I didn't think they were very nice. But anyway, these letters, I don't know. This kind of mark making on it. Anyway, long story short, I just, without too much thinking, made this a 4-signature journal. Didn't do anything as a spine, just basically sewed it in through that fabric. Now, initially, instead of centering this off to the side and having a usable piece of fabric left, I was kind of just going with this fold. I thought, well, if I put 2 signatures on that side of the fold and 2 signatures on that side of the fold, easy peasy. But then, of course, I've got this. So I've just pinned this here, thinking I'm going to live with it for a while. If it feels like this is a nuisance and this would be hard to get into. Suppose I wanted to put some of my little stuff in there. Would it be, well, I guess not bad. I could also turn this back so the pocket is shallower, or I could cut it, or I could cut it right off. This side is more accessible. For a moment or two, I thought about leaving this side long and having it wrap around. Let's just unpin this and show you. Like, have a pocket at the back because pockets are handy. Have this go around. And you see I took apart a bow, and that'll be its tie. I like the fact that it's soft and don't have to worry about it if something gets on it. Now, it was also too tall. I wanted to use this salvage edge because, of course, nothing's going to happen to that. And I thought, okay, let that be the top. And I could, if I snip things, make a shallow pocket. But again, that's probably pretty useless. It would be very shallow. So I think what I would end up doing is just cutting, say, 1 inch or so off here. And, maybe going back to this pocket idea in front. So what this proves to me and I hope it convinces you, that we can, as we're decluttering, as we're excavating, as we are digging through our stuff, reacquainting ourselves with our stuff, we can come across things that we've hung on to for a really long time. Maybe we've forgotten why we kept them in the first place, why we were drawn to them in the first place. And just without having to, have a focus group or call a meeting or, meditate or whatever, we just quickly throw together something that is for our own use, that is not precious, and that ultimately, maybe becomes one of our favorite places to play. That's risk-taking. We can always continue to do what we've always done, but where is the growth? Where is the exploration? Where is the fun in that? And I guess I also kind of like the fact that it has these, again, grade 1 type drawings in it. It also has a combination of photographs and drawings. So if they were showing how to do make a particular floral arrangement, there would be different stages of, probably not going to be able to find one now that I've brought it up. Oh, I managed to put this page in upside down. Well, isn't that a fine how do you do? Oh, you know why? I didn't look at the text. I was looking at the carnation. It was just, but they had it upside down. So, again, I have multiple art journals, glue books, places to play in progress, all simultaneously, and that's okay. And frankly, it'll be a pleasure to cover up some of these pages that I don't like. And that too is a good exercise in creativity. I guess I'm almost sorry that I didn't keep some of the nicer pages for fussy cutting, but again, I've had probably a year or more to do that, and it hasn't happened, so you snooze, you lose, kiddo. Anyway, okay, that's what I wanted to show you, and now I'm going to let you go. Thanks so much for being here, guys. As always, if you find value, please give me a thumbs up, ask a question, make a comment, make an observation, and I really hope that you try this because it's low risk, low skill, and it's quick, and it's easy, and it's fun, and we are going to make something gorgeous with the pieces. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.